All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're going to talk about the disparity in pay between technicians and mechanic secretaries, aka service writers. So I've been getting a lot of comments about pay disparity between service writers and automotive technicians. Technicians claim that all a service writer needs is their pen, they can do their job. There's a lot more to being a service writer than just that. So we're going to talk about a lot of those kind of things that lead to how much they make. On average, an average service writer makes considerably more than the average technician. So most technicians do not understand the skill set that a good service writer needs to have. It is not simply having a pen and taking orders. There's a lot more to it that leads to pay disparity to the average technician. When you talk about the top tier technicians, however, they're probably making somewhere near about the same amount as a service writer. Studies have shown auto repair in a pain factor of a consumer is right below going to the dentist. That's how much of a fear factor it is going to an automotive repair shop. They're about to have to come out of pocket for money. You know, in some cases, a lot of money, especially when it's on a tow truck, etc. So there's a lot of overcoming objections, and you have to be highly skilled at that. They need to have the temperament to deal with the public. If you've ever dealt with the general public, you know they suck to deal with. And a lot of times it's not just, oh, well, here's your car, and they buy it. There's a lot more to it than that. You have to talk to customers about, well, car to a consumer, client, however you want to put it, in a way that they understand what they're referring to. A lot of technicians can't do that. Straight up cannot do that. To put it in a different context, think about if you've ever had a technical problem with your internet. You call technical support, what do? They always tell you the same thing. Unplug your router. That story really shows where the service writer needs to tailor the story to the customer and their ability to comprehend. And that's a skill. That is something that you have to learn how to approach each customer. And each customer is very different. You may go from talking to the home hobbyist who's at home rebuilding his, 1969 Camaro and understands, how an engine works, how this works and all that, to a 19-year-old kid that understands they put gas in it and their dad told them to change the oil every 6 months or whatever. That might be the extent of their knowledge. You have to have that skill to be able to convey the right information to each customer. Let's talk about some of the reasons why a service writer makes the money they do. An old saying that they could sell ice to an Eskimo, I think, is a horrible analogy, because that means they're going to rip people off. I don't think that most salesmen would appreciate that connotation. When it comes down to it, skills needed to overcome those objections, you could put that skill in the same level of technician. The automotive technician levels that we are so used to in this industry. C-Tech, B-Tech, A-Tech. The C-Tech pretty much can only do basic things. Then you've got the B-Tech that can do most things, but when it comes to more advanced things, they're out of their league. Now you take that A-Tech and he's able to diagnose CAN networks, FlexRay networks, find that broken wire in a harness. He's able to fix the cars no matter what. That same analogy goes to salesmen. Let's start with the basic salesman. They may have some talent, but it hasn't been developed. And they're going to struggle until they learn those skills, just like a beginning technician. So you've got that B sales. They've got the talent, they need to learn the skill. When it comes down to it, they may have natural talent, but until they learn all the skills that they need to get to the top tier, that A salesman is going to be able to sell at a high rate. And that's why they get paid a lot of money, is because they developed skills. I think every technician in the world has probably seen the mediocre salesman, they've seen the okay salesman, and they've seen the really, really good ones. And that's the ones that are making the really good money, is the ones that really can sell. Most service writers are paid on some sort of commission. Yes, they usually have a base salary, but primarily their income, just like technicians, comes from what they sell. Objecting to what they make based on the fact that they are there to sell repairs for you, it's kind of not really conducive to, well, the industry. A top salesman can go from selling at an auto repair shop to selling million-dollar telecommunication contracts. A good salesman is worth their weight in gold. And just like shops need to pay top money for the top tier technicians, and they need to pay more for, the next levels down. But the thing is, if they want sales, they need to have top tier salesmen. I've worked with salesmen across all the levels, and trust me, working with a mediocre salesman sucks, especially when you're on flat rate. But even on hourly, it still sucks because their closure rate's going to be garbage. So you're going to have a lot of standing around not having anything to do, which sucks unless you're hourly and don't care. Look at the dealership life. They're constantly berated on CSI. Think about how many things they have to deal with just to maintain CSI so they get bonuses and etc. Yeah, sometimes it dumps on technicians, but it's still a lot of stress that they deal with. In an independent shop, you got to worry about Yelp. If you've ever dealt with online review extortion, which is a huge problem nowadays. Not just, not the cyber attack ones, but just the Karens going after businesses because they didn't like the way they were treated. Think about how much stress that is for a service writer. One bad experience can kill a rating because Karens usually run in packs. Tick off that one Karen, probably 3 of their friends are probably going to write a review as well. And all of a sudden you go, from here to here overnight, a Karen wasn't happy with your service. Very different things than what technicians deal with, but they still have their own stresses. Before you start berating service writers for making the big bucks, they do a very different job than you, and it is important in an automotive shop to have good salesmen. So next time you question how much a salesman makes, think about how hard their job is. Yeah, no, they're sitting in air conditioning, looking on their phone when the phone's not ringing. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate in the comments for this video, but the fact of the matter is everybody should be well paid in the automotive industry. Quit worrying about what the other guy makes. Worry about what you make. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.